answer the question, what is SCARF, it's probably a good idea to explain what the letters stand for. And they stand for Supporting Children and Responding to Families.
SCARF helps you prioritise needs, reflecting the family's concerns, the concerns of statutory organisations, and the things that you see are really needed in terms of the impact on children.
The theory behind SCARF is that children are connected to families and families are connected to the community. And you think of those three layers when you're working with them. It also relies on information that we know about normal child development and particularly early brain development.
I think SCARF is quite intuitive. I think it aims to model a kind of natural processes of our work with families, but it does involve a series of tools, and there are particular tools that you need to use at particular points in your work with the family. It's guided practice, so I often describe it as being like having a wise worker at your shoulder who's prompting you and reminding you and just making suggestions about what you might need to look at along the way.
What is on offer in practical terms is a SCARF toolkit to go with the SCARF model. The toolkit is available in two forms. The first being what's commonly known as the paper version, which is downloadable from the internet. The second is a fully interactive, electronic, data-backed version of SCARF, commonly known as eSCARF. I think there are several benefits of the electronic version over the paper version. Definitely time-saving for the worker who only has to enter the data once. From the services point of view, it collects invaluable data, both statistical data and qualitative data, which was previously not available in Australia before SCARF.
Staff have told me that when they're working with families and children where there are often very complex matters, SCARF guides their practice to identify the key priorities with the family.
One of the things I like about SCARF is that it doesn't require us to pretend that we can develop a one-off plan really early on that will cover everything that the family's ever going to need.
Mostly the strength for using the SCARF tool for staff is that there's consistency of practice.
With standard practices in place, services could collaborate with one another and contribute significantly to research.
SCARF isn't about a database. It is about the collection of a family's information and being used in such a way to guide our practice.
SCARF helps you prioritise needs, reflecting the family's concerns, the concerns of statutory organisations, and the things that you see are really needed in terms of the impact on children.
One was we wanted to improve practice in the sector. Two, we wanted to have a standard that would make us accountable for our practice. And three, we wanted to be able to participate globally, if you like, in the research that was necessary to build on practice.
I'm often thinking about the consistency of practice. So if I have a staff member who's been working with a family who's not available, in a particular week, or if they've left even, then another staff member can come in and pick up on those action plans and work with the family.
I think quite often families and children won't really be aware that you're using SCARF. You don't have to take a whole pile of papers out to a family. In fact, with some families, even a diary and a pen is probably more than they can handle. So you use SCARF not to have a tick box approach out there with the children and families, but to guide the kind of questions to ask, to guide the kind of planning tools that you develop, and to help you think more clearly about where you're at with the family.
I think for families, they quickly understand that we are working with them, not on them or for them. That any action plans that are made with their full agreement. That the work centres primarily on meeting the safety and welfare of children and young people in their family, and that we're actually working together. And the outcome that they want for their children, as most families do, is what's best for their children.
And before SCARF, anyone from the team would have been quite overwhelmed with the complexity of this family's needs.
What families and children might notice is that you spend more time making sure that you've talked to the child and being more focused in the kind of information that you look for about children and about their needs. They might also notice that you're checking with the family about a range of issues and perhaps being more holistic and comprehensive in the kind of information you get about the family early on.
It's highly recommended that services using SCARF have some training. There's two options, and we recommend face-to-face training for teams when they first embark on implementing SCARF.
Which is really important for all staff to understand the principles behind using the SCARF tool, and then a very practice-based how to use each of the components.
We also recommend that people can use the Learning Online as a refresher. Even if they've done the face-to-face in the beginning, they can go back to the Learning Online and use that to remind themselves what the different tools are for.
Most workers will learn on the job. They'll have a supervisor who can walk them through how to use the tool. And also workers are often mentored and shown through other staff who are already using it.
We have supervision and we learn with each other, modelling and mentoring.
The SCARF tool can be used in a very flexible way depending on the needs of each family. We may have a family who is illiterate, or a family for whom English is not a first language or even a third language. We found we can use the tool flexibly and in a very helpful way to those families.
Mostly the families have responded positively to using the SCARF tool because it's so participatory. Families have often said to me that their worker has identified strengths in their family that they hadn't otherwise noticed.
Families in particular enjoy the participation. They want to be part of the decision making about meeting the needs of their family, particularly their children.
I think sometimes we wait too long to say to families that maybe we can't see where we're going with them, that we haven't got clear enough goals. And I think SCARF will keep you focused and give you feedback.
Anyone who works in the area of child welfare will know that you don't have much time to be working on these complex issues where there are children in need.
It's improved. The communication's improved by using SCARF because it's written, it's transparent, it's clear.
It has to rely more than just on your personal relationship, your working relationship with that family. You have to be able to assess the information that you're given by that family, put it into context, identify the needs with that family, and then review what you're doing.
So SCARF will help you to figure out which families you should be hanging in with and which families you should be getting to and really sitting down with and saying, why are you here? And are you here just because you think someone else thinks you should be here?
Unless you can provide workers with a tool that can do this, as well as allow them professional judgment and to bring back and be reflective about the work that they're doing, you're actually not going to assist your workers in any service that you provide to meet those complex issues that every family we work with is facing today.
Ask yourself whether you want to see better outcomes for children, whether you're concerned that you're not getting to the nub of children's needs. Ask yourself whether you're wanting something that keeps you focusing back on family strengths. And ask yourself whether you're wanting a simple set of tools that will enable you to know all across your agency what the expectations are for new workers, for experienced workers, and so that when a manager looks at a family's file, they know where to look to find out whether the family's progressing and where to get the key information about what's going on.